Hi everyone, welcome to Canvas Kids. This week we are going to be painting a Valentine's Day truck. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some blue. Add a little blue right there, and now I'm going to take a little white and I'm going to add a little white to it just because I want a lighter blue. You don't have to add a lot of white, you just want to lighten it a little bit. So now when you lighten it a little bit, first thing we're going to paint is, see how the truck has got different parts, and if we painted it all exactly the same blue, you wouldn't be able to see the different parts. So these parts that are over the tires are actually the darkest blue, and then the rest of the body here I added more white to lighten it up a little bit, and then the door in here I lightened up a little bit more so you'd be able to see that. And then the sky itself is the lightest blue. So first we are going to take our darker blue that we just made and we're going to paint where the tires are. So just this part. Now I had a little bit of a problem with my tracing because my tracing paper is wearing out of the tracing stuff. So I had to go back and I had to make some lines with a regular pen just so you'd be able to see them and I'd be able to see them. So go ahead and paint your wheel area above your wheels. Try to stay in the lines the best you can. And try not to paint it too heavy. Now I'm going to probably be a little messy with mine, only for the fact that if the video runs too long, it makes it into more than one piece. And we don't want you to have to watch more than one video. So I'm trying to keep the video a little shorter so it's a little easier than having two videos to watch. And besides, you don't want to sit around forever watching the video. Okay, so now that you have that part done, you're going to take your blue and you're going to add some more white to it. The same pile of blue, the same brush. You don't have to worry about washing your brush off. So just add some more white to it. Get it all mixed up good. And now you're going to paint the rest of the truck except the door. And don't do it in the window either. So you don't want to do the door and you don't want to do the window. So you just want to do the truck body. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to go a little faster so my paint is not going to look as good as yours because I'm not trying to be careful and stay in the lines and cover everything real well. I'm trying to just show you. So it's done good enough to show you how to do this. So you try to stay in the lines and be nice and neat. Okay. And if you ever have to move your canvas around to reach parts better like I do, go right ahead. Nobody says you can't. Ever makes it easiest on you. So do above the door and below the window, and then do around the window just like that. Everybody is going to have a different shade of blue, and that's fine. Everybody doesn't have to do the same shades. And if you have other paint at home and you want your truck a different color, go right ahead. It's up to you. Okay, so now that the body of the truck is done, we're going to add more white. And we're going to lighten it up again. And we're going to paint the door. That's not enough. I'm going to have to add more white. It wasn't quite enough, and you can't really tell the difference. Okay, now it looks lighter. All right, so go ahead and paint your door. Okay, so now your truck should be done. And if ever you have to stop and pause the video till you catch up, go ahead and do that. You don't have to keep up at the same pace I am. I'm trying to just make it quick so you guys don't have a real long video. But you guys can always keep stopping this and finishing up. All right, so right now we're going to not need our blue, but we are going to need the blue for the background, but not now. So I'm going to wash off my brush. Got a lot on there. And I should have got some more white ready, but that's okay. We'll make do with what we have. So now I'm going to take some white. You don't need a whole bunch. And a tiny bit of black. I'm not going to use very much. In fact, that even might be too much. All right, and we want to make a gray. You don't need a whole bunch of gray. What you need it for is your street. Okay, so maybe I do need a tiny bit more. Don't worry about mixing it up real good. You want it kind of streaky looking, okay? So now what you want to do is you want to paint your whole street down here. See, it looks darker sometimes, the gray, when you put it actually on the canvas than what it looks like on your paper plate. So go ahead and do your whole street and try to keep painting it side to side. You know, you can go like this and go around the tire, but then try to keep going this way with your strokes of your brush, because it'll look better and it'll look like a street more. Now I'm going to do this quick, like I said. You do it nice and neat, not like me, and I'm going to have a lot of empty spots, but I'm just trying to get it done to show you. So we're going to pretend like mine's all covered real nice, even though it isn't. So go around your tires, and then go back through and go back and forth, side to side. See when you, oh, I just put my thumb in the blue. See how when you have your street like this, it looks better than if you have the lines all over. Then it would just look funny. Okay. So go ahead and finish your street. Take your time. Now there's a little bitty part at the very end of your truck. Now, like I said, pretend like my street is all nice and neatly painted. There's a little bitty thing right there. What you want to do is you want to add a smidgen more black, just to make it a slightly different color gray. and then paint it in, because it's the end of the truck. It's the little like fender in the back of the truck. So you wanted a slightly different color than your street that it's right next to, okay? So kind of just like that. Now while you have your gray out, you can also go ahead and do the center of your tires. You can go back later with the black and fix them up if you went over the lines at all. But you want to go with your lighter color first. So then when you go back with the darker color, you can hide up where you might have messed up. All right. Now, I think I told you this at the beginning on the instructions, and I did not follow my own instructions, which a lot of times I don't. But what I want to do is, I want you to take plain white paint. Just plain white. So I have some in here still that's still plain. And you have an envelope on your truck. Paint that a very light coating of just plain white. I was supposed to tell you before you did the truck, try not to get the blue in it, but just paint it a light coating, because later we're going to paint the design on it, and then you don't have to go back and fill it in then. It'd be easier since it's done now. All right. So now while that's drying, give me a minute. And I'm going to get some of this extra blue off my hand before I get it all over. Okay. Much better. Not sure if this is new or old, but I get it off the table while I've got the wipe out. And there's the yellow from last week's painting. Okay. So next step is, I don't remember what I told you on the instructions, but I think we're going to do the sky next. So I'm going to turn this around. Now you have one heart that's off to the side over here. Don't mistake it for these rest of the hearts. It's not the same kind of heart. That one is going to be a cloud. So that one you don't want to use for one of the balloons. And I didn't paint the little string for the balloon. I didn't trace the string for the balloon because I thought that's easy. You could just paint that in yourself. So now what you want to do is you want to take your blue that you already made, and you want to add a bunch of white to it. It's up to you how much, because it's up to you how dark or how light you want your sky. I'm adding all the white that's left in my little cup because this was left over from something else anyway. And I'm going to make it as light as I can with what I've got. Of course, now I don't have white for the decorations on my balloons, but that's okay because I'll just do it with a different color and we'll pretend it's white. All right, so now everybody has a light blue, and now you're going to paint the entire background and inside the window, because that is like you're looking through. So first I'm going to start with my window. You could do it lighter than this, depends on how much white you mix in with your blue for your sky. I actually would have made it lighter if I had more white with me, but I don't. But it's fine. Now just make sure when you paint around the hearts, you try not to go over the lines. Especially this little spot down here is really tricky. And up here, you can hardly see the lines for my one heart. Okay. You might want to go through first and outline all of your hearts, and then go back and fill in the rest with your blue. Fix that and around. So same thing when I did the truck. I am not going to cover it real well because I don't want your video to be really long by me being careful and trying to get it all done. So I'm just going to give it a quick coating. You take your time, cover your background really well. Mine's not going to be that great, but I just want to make sure I can show you how to do everything. So make sure you trace around your hearts. Those are all going to be your balloons. And I know sometimes the steps on the video are not the same as the steps that I typed up. But sometimes as I'm going along, I change things just because it works out better. And sometimes it's because I forgot which order I told you guys to do it in. But it doesn't really always matter. Sometimes it matters. Sometimes it doesn't. Just like sometimes it doesn't matter if you change the colors, and sometimes it does. Now you may want a different colored truck, and that's fine. If you have other paint you could use, go right ahead. But I wouldn't start making like hearts that are different colors like green and orange, just because they're supposed to look Valentine-like. But if you do, that's okay too, because it's your painting. Alright, so just trace around your hearts. And don't ever paint like this. I'm just doing it to hurry up and finish. You never want to paint like that. Messes up your brushes. Not good. I'm just trying to find ways to make your videos shorter. So don't forget, paint your whole background. Not like me. I'm going to switch to my big brush that I had in here. So I can just get this done. Use whatever brush works out best for you. Usually I have my smaller flat brush, but I didn't grab it today. And I don't want to get up and go get it because I don't want to waste your time. So just go ahead and cover the whole background. Okay, pretend like my background is all covered, nice and neat. Okay. I'm going to turn it like this for a little bit. All right. I'm done with the blue. Let me move my blue out of the way. I don't need that for right now. Now, I'm not going to do all of the hearts, but I'm going to do some of them, because some of them I have the paint for, but since I ran out of white. Okay. Now we're going to pretend like it is dry. You wait till yours is dry, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint my cloud. You might want to add more white to your cloud because my cloud's pretty dark. It's going to look like a storm cloud, but that's all right. You know what? This is what I'll do. I added a little gray to my white that was left in here, and now I'm going to paint my cloud. When your background is dry, you want to paint your cloud. And I would paint the cloud before I paint the other hearts so you remember what it's there for. Paint your cloud. And what I did on mine is, because I didn't want to just, straight lines. And mine's not going to be dry, but I added some little curves around it to make it kind of ruffly looking so it looks like a fluffy cloud. But I tried also to still keep it heart-shaped. So it's still heart-shaped, but it's more fluffy looking. Then you have lots of different options for the colors of your balloons, and that is all up to you to decide. I have a different red than you, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the heart, which is not coming out very heart-shaped because my brush isn't cooperating. Okay, that's not bad. The little heart shape inside your envelope, I would do it in red or a fairly darker color just so it shows up nice. And then it's up to you what color you want to make your other hearts. I'm going to make this big heart that's in the back of the truck. I'm going to make this one red. So you can just decide whatever color you want your hearts and what color where. Now you can make a lighter red by adding some white to your red. You can make a lighter pink by adding white to your pink that you already have. You could mix your pink and your red together a little bit to make a different color that way. You could mix your purple and, your blue and your red to make purple. It is all up to you. In fact, you know what? I'm going to try that. I'm going to try it to see how it comes out. Take a little bit of red. I wonder if it'll work using this blue. Let's see. Couldn't hurt to try. Probably will need a lot of it. Yep, that worked. You can create a purple by mixing your blue and your red. And it's just kind of basically trying to see what combination of how much of each to get the right color. So I'm going to take my purple and I'm going to take this heart and paint it this color. Now it's going to look a little gray. Could have probably used something else in it. You could even add some white to it to make it a light purple. All up to you. So I'm going to do that heart in that color. And then I'm not going to do all the hearts, but I want to do some to be able to show you. I'm going to use the plain pink, this one, especially because all of mine aren't dry. But just do it when yours are dry so you don't smear all your colors. Kind of went too heavy with it on that too. Okay, so now you know what? I'm going to take a little bit of pink and I'm going to take a little bit of red. I'm going to see if I can get a different color mixing those two. Yep. Comes up with a little different of a color. I'm going to paint this one. That one's really wet around it, so I'm not going to do it. If I would have added more pink, I think it would have been better. Got a little bit too much red. Probably hard to tell on camera anyway, but It's kind of a pinkish red, but it would have been even better if I used more pink. Okay, so just do your hearts, whatever color you want. It's up to you. You can do a white heart even. It's all up to you. All right, so now we're going to pretend like all my hearts are done. We're going to let those dry. And we're going to take black paint and we're going to paint in our tires. And like right there where it went over the line, cover it up with the black paint. You'll never know because the black is so much darker. It'll cover up your other colors if you accidentally went over the line. So go ahead and paint your 2 tires. Now you're also going to be using plain white to decorate your hearts once they dry. And since I am out of plain white, I can't do that, but I will show you anyway what to do with a different color just so you guys know what to do if you do want to do it. Okay, so paint your tires. Also take a little bit of black paint and make your handle of your truck. You don't want to forget a handle. He has to be able to get in somehow. And try to get the skinniest brush you have. And what you're going to do is you're going to make these lines on your envelope. And each of your balloons up at the top, so there's 4 of them, what you're going to do is you're going to make a string going from your balloon. We're going to pretend like those are just painted white. So you're going to go from the point like that. So it's going to look like a string is going from your balloon to the truck, just like that. All right. Now, when you have white, if you have white, let's see if I can scrounge up enough here. You can do your different patterns on your truck, on your hearts with your white, but what you're going to do is you're going to use the back of a skinny brush, dip it in your white, and that's how you're going to make your patterns on your, dots and stuff on your hearts. But you also need to put one in the center of each of your tires. Okay, so now you can also use different colors for decoration on your hearts anyway. You don't have to use them in white. So I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to take the pink one. So just take the end of your brush, dip it in your pink a little bit, and I'm going to make dots. And you could do it in whatever color you want. I'm only doing the pink because that's what I have. And I'm just going to make little dots around to make it look like polka dots on it. See if I can get it to show better. There, it shows up better on that one. You don't have to do polka dots. Oops, too much. Okay. But you can do whatever you want with those. Let me show you what I did. Just all using your imagination, whichever patterns you want. So when I did mine, I did a bunch of polka dots. But see, I did the pink polka dots on the very light pink. And then I also took some white and made a little accent on the balloons. And I have to show you what to do with that. See, this one I made X's and O's on. This one I just did them on the top and the bottom. So it's up to you what patterns you want on your balloons. And I'm going to show you what else. Take a little bit of white paint And you need to make some accents on your truck. So it's going to look like the sun is hitting it a little bit, you know, the light. So kind of there and there, and then along this one too. Okay. See? Got them there, there, and there. All right. And then that is done. Don't forget to put your initials on it. Remember, you don't have to go as the same speed I am. Just take your time. Stop your video as you're going along. Okay? And you are all set. And I will see you next time, which is going to be a little break in between programming. So programming's not going to be starting till the end of February, I believe. Just check online, check the calendar, and check, I think February 13th is when registration starts again for the next session. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.